we're in a really exciting period with tennis, and for Tennis New Zealand we have a fantastic suite of participation programs on offer, with a new one launched for this season, Tennis Xpress, and we have still really in the first year of the launch of our coaching development framework. And so it's very exciting for us to be able to relay some of this information to you and help guide you on what might be on offer to you, or what might help you promote tennis in your area, but also to help explain how some of the connections work between the participation programs, developing tennis on the ground, delivering tennis on the ground, and who might deliver that tennis experience to your community and how that might help. So without further ado, we're going to get started with this. Just to explain a little bit first, though, as Jenny just briefly mentioned earlier, we have Jenny and Gemma on our participation team. They are doing a fantastic job creating opportunities for clubs and coaches to deliver these various programs. My role is the Coach Development Manager for Tennis New Zealand, working across a fair few fields, working very closely with Jenny and Gemma with the programs, but also we're all available to help communicate with and support clubs, coaches, regions and associations and the likes. Okay, coach development. It's been a big year for us, with our big 18 months really, because we've had some planning for the coach development framework as well. If we can just go on to the next slide, Jenny, please. Some of the coach development opportunities which have been developed over the last 14 months or so have been a new online gateway short course, a 24-hour short course. We are continuing to offer and facilitate ITF level 1 and 2, and then provide a support system for anyone interested in the ITF level 3 qualification. We are developing some extension modules to encourage depth of learning for coaches. We have introduced a recognition of current competence, and we actually also have coach developer opportunities for various coaches in the community as well. So a lot of this, with the extension of the current qualifications that we deliver, a lot of this, or all of this, is actually new within the last 12 months. Next call. Right. This is the, if you go onto our website, tennis.kiwi, and you go into the coach area, this is really becoming the flagship for how tennis coach development opportunities are conveyed. This is called the pathways. We used to call it a pathway, and the pathway was singular. So effectively, thanks, Jenny's just guiding us through this at the moment. So the pathway used to be singular, where effectively the pinnacle of the pathway was high performance. Now many coaches, fantastic coaches out in our community, incredibly well respected, are not really operating in a high performance space. If we define high performance as players who are on the tour on a regular basis or representing their country. A lot of coaches out there do work in the performance space, and many also obviously in the development space and the foundation space. So this pathways component of the website is completely interactive. We've created a pathways where we're creating an opportunity for depth of learning within each playing community. So the 4 playing communities being beginner players, development players, performance players, and high performance players. The 4 coaching communities that line up with those are foundation coaches, development, performance, and high performance coaches. The new courses that have been created fit within the foundation coaching area. This is obviously a big area that requires considerable attention for clubs and for coaches. The two new courses that we have on offer are providing a real support network to both the coaches and clubs. These are the Coaching Fundamentals online short course. This is simply it's a precursor to any other coaching courses on the pathways. It is free. It takes approximately 2 hours for the participant to complete, and anyone who has some tennis playing background or some sort of coaching background will find it very simple to complete. But what it does is it creates some familiarity for the user, for the person, around some terminology, some key aspects of coaching, the theory of coaching, if you like, and introduces some various topics that will be then covered on the next course, which is the Coaching Assistant course. The online course is set up in a way where you can't fail it. There are 72 questions within the course, but it's created in a way where everyone who completes the course passes the course. There are 4 modules within the course. They are the tennis coaching environment in New Zealand, or rather the tennis environment in New Zealand, key aspects of coaching, or the theory or how-to of coaching, national programs, and rules and etiquette. And we've had some very positive feedback from participants on the Coaching Assistant 24-hour course, saying that it really has helped them create just the starting of understanding of some of the topics that they'll be going through on that Coaching Assistant course. You can start the course directly from the pathways where Jenny was showing you before, by clicking on the Coaching Fundamentals within the pathways and then clicking on the Start Now button of the Coaching Fundamentals online course. People are directed to the online course and they can commence the course immediately. The participant can also log in and out at will of that course, so they don't have to complete it all at one time. They can come back to it as time permits them to. Next screen, please, Jenny.
So there's no questions so far, but just to those people who may have arrived in the last 5 minutes or so, then firstly, welcome. Secondly, just a courtesy reminder to keep yourself muted, and we'll take any questions through your chat box that you can see. So if you want to ask a question, just type to the organizer, which is myself, and Gemma, who sat next to me, will be collating all those questions. So anything that Adam's saying, or later on when I'm talking, please feel free to use that chat box to ask any questions. Okay? Back to you, Adam.
Okay. Coaching Assistant course. This is also a new course for within the framework, and also on offer to our club and coaching community. We sat back and we reviewed what was previously on offer, and there were some really good resources on offer in the past chapter of coach development in New Zealand. One of the key objectives that we had for this course was to provide the participants who have gone through the online course and then the Coaching Assistant 24-hour course with confidence to deliver sessions to juniors without the support necessarily of a head coach. I still coach myself on a part-time basis. It's important, I believe, as the coach development manager, to remain current with coaching methods, but also to be able to relay some experiences that I have and to connect with coaches myself whilst I'm still coaching. And I know what it's like, having coached for almost 30 years on a full-time basis, that to have your assistants to a stage where they have confidence to deliver sessions autonomously from you as the head coach gives the head coach or a club so much peace of mind as far as the what can be delivered on court, and the consistency and the quality of delivery of sessions on court. The expectation of these people who participate in the coaching assistant course is not for them to write a term program or manage staff or anything like that. It's really that they can deliver a session or a series of sessions on a Saturday morning, for example, with confidence. The coaching assistant course is 24 hours in duration. It's not 24 hours in a row, although we are considering running one of those courses just for a little bit of fun. Please reach out to us if you'd like to be the pilot for a 24-hour in a row coaching assistant course. It's $300 for the course fees. However, attendees of the course assisting a National Participation Programs registered coach for this year, 2016-17, will receive a $100 subsidy from Tennis New Zealand. That makes the course $200. In addition to this, we know that some clubs or regions or associations may have the capability of offering a further subsidy to attendees. It's ideal for assisting a head coach and for club helpers in rural areas as well. And we realize that some clubs in very remote areas, this could well be your foundation for your coaching knowledge for a number of years. The course is recommended for players and a coaching assistants aged 14 years and older. It covers a number of topics, including applying the key aspects of coaching, or the theory or how-to of coaching. Now, we can get on the internet, or we can go to libraries, and we can resource a lot of tennis activities and tennis drills. What is more challenging to find information of and to practice is how to coach. So that's quite a large component of this course. That then connects with the Tennis Hotshots methodology and program very strongly. So it connects the how-to of coaching to delivering sessions for players at blue, red, orange and green stages, as well as some connections to delivering sessions to beginner adults. And it connects the tactical and technical fundamentals of players at those stages with their developmental stages as well. So a lot of coaching assistants, or the majority of coaching assistants on this course, are going to be working predominantly in that space, working with juniors at primary or intermediate ages, and usually at a beginner or low intermediate stage. Feedback from the course I can give you. I've just been delivering a course in Nelson for the last 3 days. It's not only a course to help develop young and aspiring coaches, it's also a course which helps develop personal skills for these people as well. We've had some fantastic examples on these courses of young or aspiring coaches who are quite nervous or apprehensive about the delivery of coaching within their own environment, or maybe still developing some confidence as a person. And it has been amazing to see the transformation and the personal growth of some of these people on the course. I would encourage you also, clubs and head coaches out there, to consider one of the key components to the development of tennis moving forwards is obviously fostering youth in tennis. And the young people in tennis are our future of tennis. But what I would encourage you to consider is there is also a group of people within your tennis communities, maybe playing seniors tennis, maybe competing regularly at the seniors tournaments, are regular participants at your clubs, maybe on your committees, who may also be fantastic deliverers of tennis, and as a support network for you for coaching programs. They're always going to be there. They're reliable, they know tennis, they're passionate about tennis, and they may also be a fantastic option for you to consider getting on one of these courses to help you deliver tennis at your club or within your program. Thanks, Jenny. We'll just check if there are any questions on that.
Hi Adam, so we've had a few questions regarding the coaching assistant course, and basically people just want to know how and where can these be organised?
Okay, so we have run around about 15 courses so far since the launch in December. We've run them down in Dunedin, in Nelson, Taranaki, and Auckland, numerous courses in Canterbury and Wellington. We're trying to really reach as many areas as we can. It's not limited to the large centres. We're happy to go to smaller areas of the country. We just need to make sure that there are enough participants to make the course viable. So a couple of things that you can do. If you feel like you may be able to host a course, and I'm talking to either clubs here or regions or associations or even head coaches who may have a large staff, you can contact me directly. My email is adam@tennis.kiwi, or you can also reach me at coaching@tennis.kiwi. And we can discuss the possibility of running a course in your area. I'm in regular contact with regions anyway and associations with regards to the feasibility of running courses in that area. We also work closely with a pool of coach developers that we have for this course. They are also people in our community who reach out to their local association. So there's a lot of connectors there, either with ourselves, the association, with our coach developers, also connecting with the association to discuss feasibility of hosting a course in your area. There's no reason why a course couldn't be held at a club. If a club or a group of clubs felt like they had the capacity to host a course and there was enough interest, we can make that happen, absolutely. We have coach developers in most areas of the country. If we don't have a coach developer in your area, we can get one to your area to deliver a course. Participants or interested participants can also register interest or submit interest through the website on the pathways. When they go to the coaching assistant course, they can submit interest, and that information goes directly to us, and we can then communicate with those people directly about upcoming courses in their area. I can tell you also that not only do the region or association send out information to the coaching and club communities about upcoming courses in their area, we also reach out to people who have submitted interest about a course. They've shown an interest in the course and they're on our list, and we inform them when an upcoming course is going to be scheduled in their area. So that's just another service that we can offer people in the community who are showing an interest in getting involved with coaching. We reach out to them and keep them updated on when a course is going to be scheduled in their area, and they have an opportunity to get involved.
Hey Adam, just another question.
Yes.
What is the minimum number of people for the course, of attendees?
Ideally, the minimum number of attendees is 8 usually. That can vary a little bit. If there's travel to an area by a coach developer, I'm sure you'll appreciate that there are numerous expenses. Travel, accommodation, we have a fantastic workbook resource. That's an expense as well to prepare. So a number of expenses to consider, but if you used 8 as an idea to get you started, we would be prepared to, if there was an area of the country that we haven't been to yet, and there's a real keenness to have us come to the area to make a course happen, we'd definitely be more than happy to discuss possibility of making that work if 8 was a bit of a stretch. Okay, qualification courses are the next step on a coach's development pathways. Now, it's important, I just want to mention, as I explained before, we are working on extension modules to create development opportunities or a continued depth of learning for coaches at these different levels of qualification. So rather than a coach completing a course and thinking, right, that's me done now, or there's nothing else for me, we're working on opportunities for these coaches to enhance their development with some depth of learning with extension module. We're not going to pretend to know exactly what coaches want out of that. We will be reaching out to coaching communities to get an understanding of what they feel like they'd like to learn more about. The Junior Development Coaching course, or the JDC, is recognized as an International Tennis Federation Level 1 qualification. It is a substantial commitment. It's 128 hours divided into 4 blocks of 4 days per block, usually held over 4 or 5 months. Traditionally, they've been held in the winter months, May to September. That's because coaches are usually a little bit quieter around that sort of time, and they have a bit more time to travel to these courses. We are very, very keen to get a course off the ground at different times of the year as well, if the need arises. So there's no reason why we couldn't hold a course commencing in December, for example, where things start to taper off for coaches. They don't have to wait until May next year if they want to get started. But again, it requires some promotion and support from clubs, head coaches, regions and associations to make these courses at other times happen. The course is $1,750. However, this year we've subsidized the course with a 20% subsidy, bringing the course down to $1,400 per participant, which makes the course, I believe it makes the course less than $10 an hour for participation, which is very good value. The focus of the course is on junior player development. It connects very strongly with tennis hotshots, with blue, red, orange and green stages of player development. Now, Tennis Hotshots coaching is a player development program. If you've ever had a chance to read through the competencies of the different stages within Tennis Hotshots, the competencies at green, for example, are quite high level. And that's often the feedback that we give. The people say, wow, that's advanced for green stage tennis. That's correct, and that's because it's a player development program. So the Junior Development Coaching course is about developing junior players at blue, red, orange and green stages, which is primarily the bread and butter for most coaching programs and most clubs, primary and intermediate ages of tennis. Being an ITF Level 1 qualified or JDC qualified coach allows coaches to register for national participation programs, Tennis Hotshots Coaching, Cardio Tennis and Tennis Xpress. Components of the program, in addition to junior player development, include risk management and program planning. It's highly conceivable, sorry, just back a slide, sorry Jenny. It's highly conceivable that a coach who is primarily working with primary and intermediate age junior players in their coaching program, it might be that they feel like that's their area of expertise, and they are going to continue their learning and development in that junior development coaching area. For coaches who are also working with a slightly broader player base, which brings us to the next slide, such as development and performance level players using a yellow ball, there is also ITF Level 2 or the Club Professional Coaching course. This is a 160-hour course run over 5 blocks, usually over 5 or 6 months. Again, traditionally it's been held over the winter months, and again, we're more than happy to run a Club Pro course at different times of the year. It just comes down to the level of interest. This course focuses on development and performance players, so yellow ball players already at that development or performance stage. There are some high-level topics with regards to biomechanics of match analysis and technical analysis and correction of players. There's also a focus in this course for head coaches on being a head coach, managing staff and small business responsibilities. The course also covers modules on business planning, customer service, nutrition and sports psychology. It's a very comprehensive course, usually for coaches who are running their own coaching business, possibly with staff, running an operation out of one or multiple clubs. Any questions there, Gemma, for this one? No, there aren't.
Sorry, we do have one that's just come up, just the course fees for the Club Pro.
The Club Pro course fees is just under $2,000. Again, it's been subsidised this year by Tennis New Zealand. That's come down considerably from over $2,500 a couple of years ago. So we're doing everything we can to make the courses accessible, price-wise and also location-wise, but it also comes down to the interest level. So we'd love to run more of these courses around the country. It just comes down to having enough, that critical mass of interest and participant numbers in each course to make it happen. We're also talking with associations, not just the larger regions, about running courses in their area. So again, very keen to talk with associations in the smaller areas about how we may be able to bring one of these courses to your area. Okay, the recognition of current competence. This is a new program that we have introduced. It was only launched just over a month ago. The ITF Level 1 and Level 2 qualifications that we offer, which are the JDC and the Club Pro course, are Tennis Australia qualification courses. We deliver those under license here in Tennis New Zealand. They provide a recognition of current competence for their courses, and thus it's important that we offer the same opportunity for coaches. Effectively, what it is, it's comparing an individual's formal and informal learning and possibly past qualifications or certificates against the JDC or the Club Pro competencies. It's an opportunity to gain entry into or credit towards one of these two qualification courses without having to necessarily repeat prior learning or previous learning. The way that the system works for the RCC, or the recognition of current competence, is if a coach believes that they have previous experience and possibly qualifications or certifications that meet relevant competencies for the JDC or the Club Pro, they can contact us. We'll have a lengthy discussion with them about where their background to coaching, where their current coaching is at, and we'd ask them to send us some video evidence of them coaching at the various levels within either the JDC or the Club Pro expectations. If it's deemed that that person is then an appropriate candidate to move on to the next stage of the RCC, what we would organise is some in-person on-court assessments. So effectively, it's putting the qualification course on its head. So rather than the coach doing on-court assessments at the end of each module of learning of a course, we do them all up front. At that stage, that person is either deemed not competent to be moving forwards with the RCC process, and they would be encouraged to attend either the JDC or the Club Pro course, whichever one they were applying for RCC for. If, however, that coach is deemed competent with their on-court assessments, they would be provided with the off-court assessments within either the JDC or the Club Pro, whichever they're applying for, and they would be left to their own devices to complete, with some support from us, of course, the off-court assessments. Thus, they would be are not required to attend the in-course training days of the course. It is an option for coaches coming up from overseas with some type of certification or qualification from another country, or possibly with a coach with a previously offered qualification within the New Zealand setting. Anyone is welcome to contact us on this topic of RCC. We're more than happy to discuss the possibility with them, but it is a very structured process that we go through to determine whether the person is a relevant candidate or not for the RCC process. Thank you. Gemma, any questions on that? No questions. Okay. So the last part from me with regards to coach development, we have a pool of coach developers around the country. They operate in either the space of facilitating our coaching assistant courses or our junior development or club professional coaching qualifications. Becoming a coach developer is an opportunity that some coaches, that might appeal to some coaches. It can provide another avenue for them to get involved, to be involved with tennis and tennis delivery. It can also provide another stream of income for various coaches out there or coach developers out there who are facilitating courses for us. It's a fantastic area to get involved with. Those people who are within our coach developer pool are deemed people in the community who can make a real difference, positive difference in the delivery of tennis in New Zealand. One of our key roles is to raise the level of quality of delivery of tennis in New Zealand, and being a coach developer, that person works in that space to raise the level and awareness of coaching, education and opportunities and delivery. If anyone was interested in being a coach developer, part of our coach developer team, we welcome anyone to reach out to us. My email address is there. It would be great to speak with people who are interested in that space, and would love to have a chat with you. That's it from a coach development point of view. It's been, like I say, a very big 14 months with new courses on offer, an RCC process, extension modules on their offering. I welcome anyone to reach out to us at any time if you have any questions or queries with regards to coach development topics. We'd love to help in any way that we can.
Thank you, Adam. That was wonderful. And thanks for your questions throughout that presentation from Adam. Really useful. If you, like Adam said, if you want to ask us anything offline, we're always here. So I'm going to take over a little bit now. Gemma is still the question coordinator, so whilst I'm talking, if there's anything that you want to know, just use your chat box and send the question to the organiser, and we'll collate them all and try and answer some common themes. It might be that you ask a question that's actually going to be covered a little bit later on, so we might not acknowledge it immediately. So then we'll give another chance for questions at the end as well, of course. So I'm going to talk about national programs, and very similar to what Adam's just presented on with coaching, everything we do here is for the benefit of tennis deliverers and tennis as a sport. So we want to provide coaches, volunteers, clubs, committees with as many tools and as many services as possible to make their lives easier. That's why we exist. That's why our coaching frameworks exist. That's why national programs exist. All to enhance the experience of the participant who's at the centre of everything, whether that's a child or an adult or a teenager or a pensioner. That participant, we want them to have the very, very best experience. And the deliverer who's giving that experience, we obviously want to make their life as easy as possible as well. So I'm going to cover tennis Hotshots, cardio tennis and tennis Xpress. We finally now have our suite full of all three programs. We launched Hotshots a few years ago now in 2013. Cardio tennis followed shortly after, and Tennis Xpress launched just this year. So if you've never heard of it and if this is the first time you've seen the logo and things, don't worry, you haven't been under a rock. We've only just launched it very recently. Now, apologies again, I will start with a video on Tennis Xpress, and if the buffering isn't great your end, just sit with it and we will send it to you separately outside of this presentation. So Tennis Xpress launched just very recently. Tennis Xpress, along with cardio tennis and Hotshots coaching, is a program for qualified coaches, but they are all programs that really enhance clubs, because it's all about streamlining tennis as a whole, having really good quality value products that are out there for the tennis public. So whether you're listening to us as a coach or as a club, I think there's a lot of relevance for everybody, especially if you do have a coach at your club. And then if you don't, if you're a more rural club or a smaller club that doesn't have access to a coach at all, or a coach that's sort of qualified highly enough, then we have a Hotshots community play program for you, which we will talk about a lot more detail later on. So Tennis Xpress is an adult beginner program. It is an ITF program, so it's actually launched by the International Tennis Federation a few years ago. Lots of countries around the world offer Tennis Xpress as part of their sort of adult playing program. We have Kiwified Tennis Express, so we've rebranded it. It's got a nice logo, it looks very professional, it fits in with the other participation programs very nicely. It's innovative in the way that it uses modified equipment, so adults who have never played tennis before are going to struggle just as much as children who've never played tennis before with very bouncy balls and huge tennis courts. So just like when you learn to ski as an adult or learn piano, you start off with the very basics. So Tennis Express offers that to adults. There's an option to either use the red or orange or green tennis balls, all of which are low pressure, depending on the participants in your group and how naturally able they are. The coach on the video talked about teaching styles. Tennis Express isn't about standing in a line and learning the perfect topspin forehand, but it's actually just seeing how capable these adults are already and kind of working with what you've got. So as a coach going, well, that forehand's not the best thing in the world, but it gets the ball back and forth over the net, so let's just work with it for now and actually teach these adults the game of tennis rather than just the technique of tennis, so that within 6 weeks they can actually be playing points, whether that's tie breaks or regular scoring, and whether it's in the service boxes or from the baseline, they still get the idea of what tennis is, and that actually then hooks them onto our sport. It's very social. It's a great way for people to get out there and play with family and friends and even their children as well. And it's especially suitable for the parents of Hotshots kids. So if you've got a lot of kids out there getting better at tennis, it's not long until their parents come to you and say, hey, my 8-year-old's actually better than me now. Maybe I need some tennis lessons. It's a great way, if you're a club person listening in, Tennis Express is a great way to engage with adult players outside of traditional membership models. So it's a lovely way to sort of supplement the traditional forms of participation. Not everybody is going to rock up to a tennis club and want to become a member straight away. They might just want to try it out and try the sport. And this is a good way to get those kind of people through your gates. And over the course of a certain amount of months or even years, they start to feel comfortable at that club, and then they do know if they are ever going to want to commit anymore, they know exactly where to come. Some interesting research was done during 2016 by Gemba. Sport New Zealand contract Gemba to research on a lot of the sports in this country and thousands of participants' feedback. And some really interesting stats came through from them about the motivation of participating in tennis. So the two biggest motivators are social and fitness. 34% of people want to play tennis because of the social aspect, and 32% of people want to play tennis because of the fitness aspect. So you can see that Tennis Express and also cardio, which I'll talk about next, covers those two demographics of people very, very well. Shortly we will be launching our Tennis Express national website, which you can see on your screen now. So we've done a lot of the hard work for you as clubs and as coaches when it comes to promoting the course, rather than having to sit down at the end of the day and think, oh, right, okay, I've got to add something to my website or my Facebook page. We've done a lot of it for you. This website will allow potential participants to learn about the program and what Tennis Express is. It allows them to get a glimpse into each week to know what they're going to sort of learn week by week. But most importantly, it offers them a search bar where they can search for their nearest Tennis Express venue. From that search result, they can then book and pay online for their course. So I always give the example of somebody who might be browsing the internet at 11:30 on a Friday night, who comes across this great tennis program and they've always thought about learning tennis, and then they think, oh, okay, I'll give the coach a ring on Monday. And then Monday comes and goes. Wednesday, I'll give the coach a call on Wednesday. I'll give the club a call on Thursday. And as we all know, these things slip by the wayside, and before you know it, the programs have started. That person's thinking, oh, no, I'll just leave it till next summer. Whereas with the website, being able to search, book and pay online in your pajamas at 11:30 on a Friday night is very easy. And that means that participant and that club and that coach has not missed out on a potential connection with somebody. So if you do have a coach, if you're a club person listening, you do have a coach, or if you are a coach listening in, then it's very easy to get involved. Adam talked earlier about the ITF Level 1 qualification, which was the Junior Development Coach qualification. That is the minimum requirement to become a program deliverer, so for Tennis Xpress. The reason we do that is to ensure the quality and the integrity of the program. It's very cheap to be involved, only $50 annually, and you do get over $600 of benefits straight up. So for a coach, financially, a bit of a no-brainer. Very flexible program. It can fit over any sort of adult beginner program currently running at the club. And we know that kids and adult beginners are sort of a huge market for clubs and for coaching programs. If you want to find out any more information at the moment before the other website launches, just head to tennisexpress.kiwi and you'll see there's a couple of pages on there with a bit more information, and also for coaches out there, there's the link to the registration form, so you can actually fill it out right now. And Gemma, who's with me now, she is in charge of processing all the registrations to program, so she'll be in touch with you very shortly. Okay, so I'm going to move on from Tennis Xpress and make a little bit of a sidestep towards ClubSpark, which is a club management tool and a coach management tool. So ClubSpark is what powers the future Tennis Xpress and Cardio Tennis websites. And it's also what powers the online booking and the national promotion of all of our programs. As well as that, it allows coaches to manage their businesses, so manage things like invoicing, scheduling, wet weather announcements, all that kind of stuff. And it also allows clubs to manage their behind the scenes, so things like membership and court bookings, court allocations, invoicing again for subs, general communications and updates, even logging people into sessions as well. When they do arrive at the club, you can track how often people are coming and going. It's a great little bit of software that an English company has developed for the LTA, which is the Lawn Tennis Association. So it's specifically for tennis. Tennis Australia are also using ClubSpark for court access. So the two big players, I guess, in the international tennis scene, the English and the Aussies, are both already using ClubSpark, and we're lucky enough that we are embracing their technology as well. So there's actually a pilot going on at the moment for ClubSpark, which our colleague Jamie Tong is leading. So there's about 13 clubs around the country who are just piloting the club side of ClubSpark, which is membership management and court management. And the view is to replace Promato, which is our current management system, with ClubSpark next year. So it's fully funded by Tennis New Zealand, and this is for coaches and for clubs. There's no cost to you guys. And it's very much, I guess, an enhancement to Promato. Promato has served us very, very well for a long time. And it was built by a tennis man and is managed by a tennis man, and ClubSpark just offers many more bells and whistles that Promato doesn't. So again, I'm going to play you a little video, but I know this does really sort of perk up a lot of club people's ears. So what you can do is message us if you'd like us to get in touch directly. We can do that, and Jamie can follow up on a conversation with you about ClubSpark specifically. So I'm just going to show you the video now. So apologies if that video didn't play as smoothly as you like, but you can search for it on YouTube if you want to watch it before we send this presentation out. I think under YouTube it's under Sport Labs and ClubSpark, if that's a good search for you. But really great tool, really exciting the amount it can do for clubs, and very simple. It also provides website templates for clubs as well. So there's lots of opportunity there to sort of streamline the back end of things. I know that the developers are integrating it with Xero as well, and they have plans to do that sort of towards the end of this financial year, like April time. So lots of feedback's being gathered from this pilot at the moment that Jamie is running, and the ClubSpark team are very, very open to sort of adding and enhancing things as we go along through the pilot. So thanks to all those clubs who are taking the hit for the majority there. I'm going to move on to Tennis Hotshots now, which of course is our flagship program. So I'll start with a little quick video. Tennis Hotshots is our flagship program. It's been running now since 2013, and it is the biggest program we have. And by and large, it's the biggest amount of participants because those juniors are out there swarming around every tennis club in New Zealand. There are 4 components to Hotshots. So you may not realize this already, but there's actually 4 components. It's not just coaching. There's a community play component. There's a schools component, and there's also a competition component. So the aim with that was that no matter what walk of life a child might interact with tennis, whether it's a taster session at school, whether it's a fun competition at the weekend, whether it's a trial at a club, or whether it's fully immersed in a coaching program once or twice a week, there is a hotshot scenario for that child. So really by having those 4 components, we're developing a program that's consistent no matter where or when or how a child interacts with that program. It really is world leading. It was developed by Tennis Australia, so we license it from them, but we have Kiwi-fied Hotshots to suit the New Zealand market. So we have our own logo, our own sponsors, our own resources, and we manage the program in this country. But we have the huge benefit of accessing all the good work that Tennis Australia have done over the years, and obviously their massive investment that they make annually into the program. It really is the flagship for them as well. And if you think about how much coverage it gets at the Australian Open and all the Hotshots fun days that they organise, we're lucky enough to benefit from all of that work that they do. It's especially helpful when they're trying new things. We can sit back and see how those new things go, and we can let them sort of make the mistakes and make the tweaks, and then we can adopt certain elements of the program once they're running smoothly and nicely. The philosophy of Hotshots is really important. So any coach or any club that buys into the program will have hopefully bought into the philosophy as well. It's a bit of a funny thing, because the philosophy of teaching kids with modified equipment and using smaller courts and getting kids to work together and learning the game of tennis, not just the technique of tennis, is something that in Europe and overseas has been sort of commonplace for the past 30 or so years. New Zealand's taken a little bit longer to sort of get around to that way of thinking, but it's brilliant now that that is common. So lots of, well, everyone's pretty much heard of modified tennis balls and softer tennis balls and smaller courts, and the majority of deliverers are teaching kids in that way. The equipment is adapted for the children, so they've got rackets, balls and courts that suit their size, their age, their stage, their strength. Kids don't want to stand in a line anymore. There's too many distractions there, and it's not the best way for children to learn, because most of the time if they're in a line they're actually inactive. Whereas if they're working together as partners and working as a coach and player between themselves, then they can learn much, much more, not just the tennis, but things like teamwork and patience and control, because they're actually working as each other's coaches. Even 5- and 6-year-olds, you can get them throwing and catching together quite nicely. And Hotshots also follows the progressive pathway. So we have 4 stages to Hotshots. We have blue, red, orange and green. So blue is right for the little ones, 3- to 5-year-olds. Red, orange and green, the children get older and progress just like traffic lights. The balls get a bit bouncier, the courts get a bit bigger as the players grow as well. On this presentation, I'm just going to really focus on the coaching and the community components of the 4 Hotshots components, because they're the 2 that would have the most, that you as club people and coaches would have the most to do with. Now this is a sad picture. Shows children just stood in a line waiting for their turn to hit the ball, and then they might hit it, they might not, and then they're just going to have to run around, pick the ball up and join the queue again. There is a positive there. There's a smaller racket and a softer ball, which is great, but that is the antithesis of Hotshots delivery. Kids are bored, they're standing in a line, and they're not learning anything while they're stood still. This is a great example of Hotshots in action, as it should be, especially the red level. Now remember, this is only the red level of Hotshots shown here. Orange and green, when the kids are over the big net, is just the same. But lots of kids working together, the coaches get to go around and actually interact with the children side by side. So it's much more personal, much more information can be conveyed rather than shouting from the other side of the net. But most of all, the kids are active, they're engaged, they're socializing, they're working together, and they're learning many, many more skills than just hitting the ball. The top picture is actually a New Zealand tennis club up on the North Shore. And here's a great quote from one of the coaches in Auckland and the clubs. So coach and club work together really nicely here, and they've always been very supportive of Hotshots program and shared some stuff with us just recently, which warmed our hearts. Now this coach won't mind me saying, but he is a older generation coach. He's in his 60s, but he's keeping up to date with, you know, what participants want, how kids learn best, what's best for the community and for the club, and he's really doing well up there. So I want to dive in a little bit now to community play and coaching, just so you can understand as deliverers, as clubs, as coaches, how the 2 programs really work. So community play is a club program. So if you don't have a coach, or you have access to a part-time coach or a coach with not an ITF level 1 qualification, then your club can still offer community play. We didn't want to launch a junior program that was only for people who had full-time coaches, because that would immediately discount over half the tennis clubs in New Zealand. As soon as you leave the major centres and the major cities, most clubs don't have a coach, or they don't have access to a full-time coach. So community play is wonderful, both for clubs with no coach, but also clubs with a coach, because it really does act as a good sort of taster, a little try before you buy, and a good way for kids in the club to actually just play and enjoy tennis on top of their regular coaching. Community play in its rawest form is a 6-week play-based program, but that can be extended to run for a whole term, or it can be run once a month. Some clubs I know run it just every Sunday, the first Sunday of every month in the winter, just to keep people's eye into tennis over the winter when everyone else is knee-deep in rugby. Other clubs use it for open days, for community days, and other clubs do use it regularly, week in, week out, as a Friday night or a Saturday morning kind of social thing, which most clubs have as standard. Community play can be led by a coach or a volunteer, and it's a low cost or free program. So if you've got a coach, ideally that coach will be running community play in order to recruit participants to their coaching program, or you'd be recruiting people to club membership so they get their coaching. If it's low cost, it might be that you put all that money into an end of season sausage sizzle, or you might pay teenagers to run it, so coaching assistants to run it, and if every child brings a gold coin, and the young teenagers at your club get paid 10 or 15 bucks at the end of the night, depending on how many people showed up. As I said earlier, community play is a great way to feed the coaching sessions, but it's also a great way to get children in from off the street or from a school. So if you've got a connection, or you've done a promotional push in your community, then community play is a great bridger, or a great bridge between that person having never played tennis before and that person actually committing to tennis as a sport that they love. To try and ask somebody from a one-off school visit to join a coaching program or join a club and pay a membership or pay a 10-week coaching fee is very wishful thinking. So we like to offer community play as that lovely bridge between never trying tennis before and committing to tennis. It's a wonderful way to offer kids who are coached regularly to actually play, and to play with their friends as well, because they might not always be in the same ability groups in their coaching lessons. In community play, they can all come on the same night, all play against each other and have lots of fun together. Because how many children out there who are having coaching are actually playing regularly? In football or rugby or netball, kids turn up on a Saturday to play a match. They might go to practice during the week, they might not, but they definitely turn up at the weekend to play a match. Tennis has always been the other way around. We go to coaching every week, but we rarely play a match. And for those of you that do play regularly, you know that's the hook. It's the sport that's the hook, not the coaching. So this is a great way, community play, for those coached kids to just get out there and hit some balls in an environment where there's no rankings, there's no outcome of, winning or losing. It's just a great way to get out there and play tennis. So I'd say community play is wonderful for those of you with or without a coach. If you have a part-time coach, this is a great way for you to offer something more regularly as a club-owned program. So even if your coach is between contracts or leaves or goes away for the whole winter, you as a club can still offer something to the community around you, and you can still get kids and adults coming through the gates. If you're a coach, this is a no-brainer to get your club to sign up, because it's a great way to feed into your coaching program. So the difference between community play and coaching should be clear from this slide. Coaching is all about player development. It's not play-based, it's development-based. It's all about getting a kid better at tennis, working on their tactical, technical, mental and physical skills, improving them at tennis, Coaches are qualified, so they're trained, they're professional, they earn money out of coaching and their profession, just like a personal trainer would, or a doctor or a dentist. Coaching should be small groups of a similar ability, rather than 20 kids getting 2 seconds with the coach out of an hour. Small groups of maybe 4 to 6 children. And ideally, coaching should be user pay. We have a Hotshots website, which hopefully some of you have visited. We are adding the ClubSpark booking tool to our Hotshots website soon. So at the moment you can search for venues near you. There's also lots and lots of Hotshots information out there generally for clubs, for coaches, for parents and for teachers. Lots on competitions and how to be the best tennis parent you can be, so I'd highly recommend heading over to read that if you're running events over the summer. But the big thing is promoting to the public where their nearest Hotshots venue is. So at the moment you can search for your venue, you can get in touch with that venue, and once we interact with the ClubSpark tool, those people will also be able to book online and pay for Hotshots coaching courses. Now the way that all this stuff gets onto the website is down to basically the coach in the first instance to put their programs that they're running. So if they're doing Hotshots or Tennis Xpress programs or cardio tennis programs, they would upload those programs to their own website, and that would then immediately talk to the national website. So you just do it once and it's out there on both websites for customers to see. There are lots of benefits for being involved in Hotshots, whether I started off by saying it's all about the participant, to give them the best experience. We also look after you guys obviously as deliverers. So these are some of the benefits for being a community play club. Lots of them overlap with signing up as a Hotshots coach as well for the coaching component. So each year we do a big t-shirt drive. Any child who is playing Hotshots coaching or Hotshots community play can register to the national website and they will be eligible for a t-shirt, which is completely free to everybody, apart from Tennis New Zealand obviously. So this year we sent out just over 3,000 t-shirts. Our next lot of t-shirts are being sent out during term 4, so if you're currently already signed up to these programs, then we'll be communicating this week on the next steps for that. A few clubs last year signed up all of their children that were playing red, orange or green tennis to the website. So some clubs benefited from over $1,200 worth of t-shirts that they handed out. They felt like Father Christmas. The kids were so pleased. The parents loved it, thought that club was the best thing since sliced bread, and everyone's happy. So we do those t-shirts for the coaching and the community play programs. We also send out equipment packs and top-ups every year. We obviously assist with national promotion for both coaches and community play clubs. Community play clubs get access to session plans, so the full 6 weeks and all the activities and videos that go with that program, and free training as well. So right now we're just a week or so away from our first community play deliverer course, which is a 3-hour free of charge course for anyone, any volunteer or sort of young helper or parent or committee person that might be involved in delivering community play. They can attend a 3-hour course free of charge locally in their area. Now for coaches, we obviously provide lesson plans, and there's a brilliant app that we gift to all of our Hotshots coaches, and that's the Hotshots app, and it allows you to find activities depending on a tactical or a technical outcome or mental or physical outcome, depending on a skill that you want to focus on. So you can build a whole lesson or a week's worth of lesson or a term's or a year's worth of lessons all through this app. It allows you to schedule your year of Hotshots tennis, And most importantly, it allows you to share those session plans with your coaching team. So if you've got a few coaches working for you and you're maybe on different courts or even at different clubs in some instances, you can make sure that all of your assistants are on the same page as you when it comes to delivery. So really helpful when it comes to training and staff training and education. A big benefit for the kids pictured, they were kids on court at the ASB Classic this year. So we had local kids from Auckland and the Shore, but we also had kids who were up in Auckland on holiday from Christchurch, from New Plymouth, one from Dunedin as well, I think, who all managed to be lucky kids on court. And what they do is warm the court up before the pros come on at the ASB Classic. So these little ones this year, they met David Ferrer, they met Songer, they met Jack Sock, and they had their photos taken with all of them. And the parents are obviously, again, thinking that their coach in their club is amazing because having them signed up to Hotshots meant that their little kid could be on centre court at the ASB Classic. There's lots and lots of benefits for everyone involved, as I hope you can see. Now, to be involved in Hotshots Community Play, there's a one-off payment of $150. So once you're in, you're in. We don't get you to pay every year. Once you're in the family, you're in the family. The coaching program is $170 for a coach to sign up, and that's an annual fee for them. Coaches are in the business of making money, and it's the cost of maybe 3 or 4 private lessons per year, so it's not a huge outcome, and obviously it's a business expense as well for coaches, which is you can claim back, which is always good. If you want to find out any more information or register to the program, so whether you're a club and you want to sign up for community play tonight, or whether you're a coach and you want to sign up for Hotshots tonight, head to tennishotshots.kiwi, find the tab that's relevant to you, whether that's coach or club, and then there'll be a page which is called Sign Up to Tennis Hotshots. So I'm going to keep going. There's no questions so far. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But if you've got any questions at all, just type them and Gemma will be collating them and I can answer them as we go. So moving on to cardio tennis, we'll start with a quick video again. Mm-hmm. So cardio tennis, our fitness program. Now this, like Tennis Xpress, is a program for coaches who are qualified to the ITF Level 1 standard. And remember, when we talk about that, we also include in that general description historical qualifications. So any qualification that was previously offered in New Zealand, they are also eligible for programs. And international qualifications as well, they are also recognised. So I was a coach for 9 years and I have an overseas qualification, but Adam knows that it would be equivalent to ITF level 1 or 2 over here, so he can tell me, yep, Jenny, you're good to go. So if you've got any queries about your qualification or your coach's qualification, then we can always help with that. So cardio really is a workout. It's not learning how to play tennis. It's not improving your forehand. It's not being coached technically. It's just about getting a workout. It was designed for the fitness market, which is one of the biggest markets in the world, and we want to tap into that, especially in New Zealand, being such a sort of health and fitness minded country. It made perfect sense to have a fitness program as one of our national programs. It's all about music, which makes you work 33% harder. Fitness devices, which add that extra element of competitiveness, whether that's against yourself or against others. So in this instance, we might say mean heart rate monitors or pedometers. And cardio tennis also is all about cardio balls, which are the same balls that Hotshots and Tennis Xpress use. It's those low pressure balls. Most cardio sessions are delivered with green balls, which slows things down a little bit for people, even though the session is still pretty frantic. So I want to go back to some Gemba research that I mentioned earlier. So before we talked about the big motivators for tennis. So if you think about this, whether from a club or a coaching perspective, people are motivated by social and fitness. The biggest motivators are social and fitness. The top barriers to participation, number one is time. So 37% of people say, I can't or don't play tennis, even though I want to, because I don't have enough time. Now that's them thinking probably about an interclub match or a hit which kind of is unstructured, or maybe, you know, just a match against a friend of theirs that might be 3 sets long and they don't know how long that's going to take. Cardio tennis is an hour. So you're in and out just like you would be at the gym, just like you would be with a football match or a kids rugby match. In and out, it's got a definite beginning and a definite end. So you're really satisfying the biggest percentage of people who aren't playing tennis because of no time. Cardio tennis is satisfying those people. The second biggest barrier was not having a partner. So 33% of people saying they can't play because they don't have anyone to play with. So cardio tennis really attacked that as well, because you don't need a partner to play. And the next biggest barrier was actually membership. 26% of people saying can't play tennis, don't want to play tennis because I don't want to be a member. So if you can appeal to those people who don't want to be members but still get them into your tennis club and benefit from them in a different way to traditional membership, then you're opening up your tennis club and your coaching program to a bigger market of people. So cardio tennis is removing lots of barriers, and it's really giving customers what they want. Is there any questions, Gemma?
Yeah, so we just had a question about what is the target age group for cardio tennis?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so Tennis Australia did some research. This is actually another Tennis Australia program. Cardio tennis is international. It was started in America, and it was traditionally for that sort of young, early 20s to early 30s market. But I think over time it's proved actually that it is suitable for a little bit older, so perhaps the sort of 35, 40 pluses. All the sessions that I am aware of, that I'm familiar with that are running at the moment in New Zealand, stereotypically often are attracting the mums of young children once they've dropped the children off at school. But it's also going down really well in some clubs with really good players. So the top players, you know, the top men's players or the men's teams in some clubs are loving it for a workout. The majority of participants are female, but there is a good male market as well. I think you can offer mixed gender classes as a cardio coach. You can offer specific women only. You could even offer a men's only one and include lots of push-ups, lots of ladder drills, lots of squats, lots of more competitive side of things. So depending on what your community is like and what your tennis club is like, you can really tailor cardio tennis for the needs that suit your audience. So there's a glimpse there into the national website that's coming out very shortly, the cardio tennis website. There are lots of examples there of what the program is, videos and things, but of course, like with Tennis Xpress and with Hotshots, there is a get involved, find a workout function. So people can search for a workout near them, they can book and pay and attend. Payment and costs of these programs is entirely up to the deliverer and to the club, because we can't dictate a price that suits the whole of New Zealand, so it's obviously very, very localised with how much these things cost. There's a good example of cardio tennis working really well with Hotshots. So actually, Adam's Club down in Christchurch has got a very mixed group. They run cardio tennis on a Saturday morning at the same time as the Hotshots program. So a whole family can come, the kids can go and do Hotshots, and the parents can do cardio tennis. So Adam's got a group down there of a young mother who was playing national standard and a beginner in the same session. So for cardio tennis, you could literally, each one of you could bring your aunt, your teacher, your dentist, and your neighbour, and you could all have a really good time because you're all there for a good workout. Those of you who are playing tennis anyway, your tennis would improve because your reactions and your speed around the court and your endurance is going to get better and better. Those of you who aren't playing tennis, it doesn't really matter because you're getting a great workout and that's what you're there for. You might increase your hand-eye coordination and your ability naturally, but from a club and coach point of view, the best thing to do for those people is to sell Tennis Xpress to them. So they're getting a good workout, but then if they actually want to learn and want to get involved in tennis a little bit more, then the Tennis Xpress is right there for them. So being involved in cardio tennis costs $130, and this is for a coach that's qualified to the ITF level 1 or the equivalent. Over $1,000 worth of benefits straight off the bat, so it's really good value to be involved. And you can find out more information about cardio tennis at the website, and there's also the link to the registration form there if you're a coach sitting in and you're keen to be involved. We can answer any questions at any time on cardio, and if you want to see more about it and watch that video in your own time, then of course the website can offer that as well. So to finish off, I just want to give you a good picture of how all those 3 national programs might work together. And again, just think of the why these programs exist. These programs exist to cater for the biggest parts of the community, your community. So we've got kids, we've got people who want to be fit, and we've got adults who want to learn something new. Whether that is piano or tennis, hopefully we can appeal to them with tennis with a professional program. All of these programs are developed to get more people into clubs and into our sport, whether that's in the traditional form like membership or a very non-traditional form like cardio tennis concession cards. All of these programs will help get more people through the door. And the way that people are consuming things these days is very different to how they did 20 years ago. So now if you wanted to watch a movie, you wouldn't probably pay for an annual Sky subscription. You'd find it online somewhere, and you might pay a few dollars for it, or you might stream it for free. Tennis needs to be the same as that. So we want to embrace more and more people into our sport, and those people might not want to be traditional members, but those traditional members are always going to be the core of the club and the very important part of the club, and they're the people that will be you guys. They'll be the committee members, they'll be the coaches, they'll be the deliverers. But we want to make sure that we are moving with the times and catering for as many people as possible in our communities. And we hope that these 3 national programs can do that for you. And we also hope that all of those coaching pathways that Adam talked about earlier can help your community deliver quality and deliver confidently as well. So whether that's as a volunteer coach or as a professional coach, we hope that we've provided something for you that you can see working in your community. So these programs, how do they link together? Imagine this, a local club and their coach head off to the local primary school, which is just a few kilometres away. They manage to get a little slot during an assembly, and they choose a Friday assembly because they know that parents are present during that assembly. So the coach gets up on the stage and talks a little bit about the club down the road, you know, what they offer, who they are, where they are. And the coach manages to get the principal of the school to join in a fun little tennis match up on the stage. So they've got the little 21-inch rackets and the red balls, and they're having loads of fun. The kids are absolutely in hysterics watching their principal up on the stage being completely embarrassed in a sport. They're having the best time of their life in this assembly because somebody new is in the school, and that's always really, really exciting. So the club and coach did this for a few weeks. By this time, the school staff and the parents were becoming familiar with the people from the tennis club, starting to recognise them and understand why they're there. And after a few weeks, there was enough demand from the children and the parents to set up a breakfast club for Hotshots. So it's user pay, kids come along, you know, Wednesday mornings before school for half an hour, and it's a gold coin for every time you want to come. During that assembly period, the coach was also smart to sell to the teachers. So they were invited for a Friday night cardio tennis social. So they do their cardio for an hour, and then they have their usual sort of wine or beer on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening at the club. Now, about halfway through the school term, the children who were coming along to this Hotshots breakfast club were sent home with a little voucher which invited them and their brothers and sisters and their friends and their parents to a community day at the weekend at the tennis club. Because it's that hard thing, isn't it, to bridge the gap between the school and the club. So people were incentivized by coming along. It was a free session. There was going to be a Hotshots community play being delivered, and the coach had recruited some of the club people and the teenagers to run community play. And the adults were coming along because the coach was running some Tennis Xpress taster sessions, all for free, and one of those speculate to accumulate situations. So during that Saturday morning, you've got club people, you've got the coach, you've got the parents, and you've got children. So everybody's there, everyone's sort of chipping in, sharing stories, talking about the club, what the club offers. You know, the on-court stuff is happening, is really good quality as well. Everyone seems to know what they're doing. All the resources for all the programs were displayed, and you could see that kids could get T-shirts, and these parents were thinking, wow, this club really does know what they're doing. And from that experience, adults understand what the club and coach are all about. So they're inquiring about individual lessons, about joining the club, about Tennis Xpress and about cardio tennis. The kids are absolutely loving what they're doing on the court, and they want to come back and play more Hotshots. So all three programs are feeding each other. They're working really well hand in hand. And that club and that coach are getting people through their doors that they may not have been able to get through their gates before. So we're going to finish up now. The last slide really just reminds you of those websites. If you want to go and browse, you can do. So you can have a little look at each program in a bit more detail. And don't forget, Gemma and I are here to answer any questions about national programs. And Adam is right there to answer any questions about coaching. And Jamie, our colleague, will be able to help you with any ClubSpark inquiries. So at any time, if you want to email any of us, you can. So Adam's already given his details. If you haven't noted them down, then it's adam@tennis.kiwi. It's actually very easy. I'm Jenny at tennis.kiwi. And Gemma is Gemma with a J, Gemma at tennis.kiwi. Adam, have you got anything more to add? I'm guessing that's a no. All right, well, listen, everybody, we will send this presentation out to you all. We have recorded it. We'll test the recording and make sure it's quality enough. If it hasn't quite worked nicely, then we will still send the presentation out. But there are very, very comprehensive notes, almost sort of verbatim of what we've been speaking about. So you'll be able to look at each slide and read about each slide. And then, of course, you can share that with all of your coaching assistants, all of your club people, anyone who you feel might benefit from it. So thank you so much for all of your time. We'll stay on the line for the next few minutes, but really appreciate you dialing in, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.